believe in green, resilient, and inclusive development. In line with this, the Nepal Infrastructure Summit and Technology Integration and investment-friendly laws and policies. Nepal's infrastructure development journey is promising. With a collective effort from the government and private sector, Nepal can build the infrastructure. Nepal Infrastructure Summit 2024, driving sustainable development through strategic investment.
2017, which recognized the private sector as an indispensable partner. NIS 2019 shifted its focus towards building resilient infrastructure for sustainable development, while the most recent NIS 2022 emphasized the theme of infrastructure for growth. Today we gather under the banner of NIS 2024 with the theme of driving sustainable development through strategic investment. The objectives of the summit have remained instrumental in addressing investment and financing needs, critical for development of infrastructure, initiatives such as creation of Nepal Infrastructure Bank and implementation of Public-Private Partnership and Investment Act were significant outcomes. Funding mechanisms like viability gap funding, schemes and hedging for mitigating foreign exchange risk have helped attract international investors. Moreover, new innovative financing models, including green bonds, blended finance, have been introduced to support sustainable infrastructure projects. The adoption of future, we recognize that infrastructure development must be sustainable, resilient, and inclusive to truly benefit society in long term. This calls for strategic investment, balances economic growth with environmental sustainability and social equity. This year's summit offers a diverse range of discussions and opportunities through its plenary and focus on green, resilient, and inclusive development, regional infrastructure and integration, discussing how Nepal can enhance regional cooperation and connectivity, private sector investment, highlighting the indispensable role of private sector, fiscal and monetary and regulatory policies, examining how we can create conducive environment for infrastructure financing. Tomorrow's parallel sessions will cover a wide range of key infrastructure areas, including energy and water resources, urban development and affordable housing, transport, explore emerging issues such as creating opportunities for women in infrastructure, digital, ICT and technology integration, and the role of provincial and local governments in infrastructure development. Participants will also have opportunities to engage in visit.
Friends, colleagues, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the organizers have asked me to do two things today. One, to provide a quick overview of the infrastructure-trained challenges and opportunity of the whole Asia-Pacific region. I work with Asian development.
Welcome to Nepal. Respected dignitaries, media, ladies and gentlemen. It's both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today at the Nepal Infrastructure Summit 2024, a flagship event that has been a beacon of hope and progress in our nation since 2014. I extend my deepest gratitude to CNI and Government of Nepal and the youth community of Nepalese contractors for orchestrating this significant gathering. Over the years, the Nepal Infrastructure Summit has blossomed into a premier platform, convening over thousands of participants from government bodies, private enterprises, international stakeholders, and thought leaders. This summit is not just an event, it's a crucible for collaboration, innovation, and transformative ideas in the infrastructure sector. As we gather here today, it is imperative to reflect on the state of infrastructure in Nepal, which touches the very core of our economic and social well-being. Our infrastructure projects predominantly face severe delays and inefficiencies. Take, for example, the Melanchi water project, initiated in the late 90s to quench the thirst of Kathmanduites. Similarly, the Butwal-Naranghat and Bhaktapur-Dhulikhel road, crucial for improving transportation and trade routes, face ongoing delays, leading to traffic congestion and higher transportation costs and loss of productivity. In contrast, our neighbor India set a world record by constructing a 100-kilometer stretch of road in just 100 hours. The feat highlights what is possible with strong project management, resource allocation, and technological integration. Nepal must take inspiration from these examples to improve its infrastructure delivery mechanism and stay competitive. On a positive note, however, we do have success stories. The Middle Marshandi hydroelectricity project has significantly contributed to the national grid despite initial setbacks. Projects like Arun 3 are progressing well. The other mega projects like the Pancheshwar and the Karnali Basin should be prioritized as they hold the key to closing our energy infrastructure gap. The contrasting outcomes of these projects offer valuable lessons. The failure of timely execution, as seen with Melanchi, alongside delays in major road projects, emphasizes the urgent need to reform in our project development modalities. In contrast, the success of Middle Marshandi illustrates the impact of effective planning, stakeholder management, and adaptability. We must confront these challenges relating to the airport projects. We built Pokhara International Airport and Gautam Buddha International Airport, and I'm happy to note that the Right Honorable Prime Minister, as soon as he took charge of the office, immediately initiated a meaningful and conclusive dialogues to open these airports and enhance the traffic. However, we still need to act, and I'm happy to see the CEO of the AirAsia here and reaffirming from this podium the restarting of the linkages between Thailand and Nepal through AirAsia. I also understand that there are serious discussions going on to have these projects managed under PPP model. Infrastructure is just not about construction. It has to be a holistic development. Looking beyond our borders, we can learn from the international examples. South Korea, after the Korean War, South Korea was one of the poorest countries globally. We just heard the Nobel laureate here. Through strategic government planning, which he emphasized, investment in infrastructure and fostering private sector participation, it rapidly industrialized. The development of Incheon International Airport, now a global aviation hub, showcases how visionary projects can drive a nation's economy. China's special economic zones, SEZs, cities like Shenzhen, transformed from small fishing village into a mega city in just a few decades through tax incentives and regulatory reforms. Nepal must consider creating such zones to attract investment and catalyze infrastructure development. While the challenges we face are multifaceted, they are not unsurmountable. We must address key issues of execution delays and quality standard. Frequent political changes and bureaucratic inertia contribute to delays and poor quality projects. Establishing independent project management offices that remain insulated from political fluctuations is essential to ensuring continuity and adherence to the quality standard. Financing and investment. Nepal's over-reliance on loans for major projects places a significant burden on the economy. We must explore innovative financing mechanisms, including the public-private partnerships, which can mobilize private capital and expertise. For instance, the Trishuli 3A hydropower project demonstrates the potentials of PPPs. Simplifying regulatory procedures is critical. Implementing a one-stop shop for project approvals can reduce delays and make Nepal more attractive to both domestic and foreign investors. Infrastructure projects should be developed holistically. For instance, while we have increased hydropower production, the lack of adequate transmission line hinders efficient electricity distribution. Similarly, our airports cannot reach full capacity without proper air routes agreement and supporting facilities. And that's why privatization of the airport under public-private partnership for management. A successful model from India's PPP framework, which our president also talked about, hybrid annuity model, which is called the HAM, introduces to address challenges in traditional build, operate, transfer models, especially in road construction. In HAM, the government contributes 40% upfront during the construction, while the private developer finances the remaining 60% through equity and debt. This reduces financial risk and ensures a steady cash flow through biannual annuity payments, eliminating reliance on uncertain toll revenues. Nepal can benefit from adopting HAM, particularly for road infrastructure along the key routes between India and China. By reducing developers' financial exposure and guaranteeing returns through annuity program, we can attract more private sector participation and accelerate road infrastructure development. Nepal has also made significant strides in sustainability, particularly in the electric vehicle sector. Between 2020 to 23, and Nepal saw a 245% increase in the EV imports, with 80% of the private vehicle imports now electric. This transformation has helped reduce fossil fuel dependency and carbon emissions by an estimated of 1.5 million metric tons annually. The EV penetration rate in Nepal is amongst the highest in South Asia. This should inspire further investments in renewable energy, climate resilience infrastructure.